and then selling at 60.40, and then selling at 60.25, and now trading 59.50. So you'd have made yourself a profit of $1,000 on the drop. And we're still not long. We're still not long the oil. So you can see the storyline stacks up with VWAP. So can VWAP give me fair value? No, but can VWAP give me the bias of what fair value has been? Yes, absolutely. And therefore, it's the same as market profile. It has that very, very accurate look back because it's just the reality of the situation. It's the reality. And if the reality of the situation is good to go, well, you know, who am I to disagree with the reality of it? I'm just going to trade the reality as I see it. And therefore, selling below VWAP is a very sensible trade. Now, some people might say, but if VWAP is value, surely you should only ever buy below VWAP. Well, good luck with that storyline, because that storyline is never going to work. If you constantly buy below VWAP and sell above VWAP, you will get wiped out very quickly as a trader. Does everybody agree with that? You will get wiped out very quickly as a trader. Because what you've got to try and do is you've got to try and trade these bigger market moves. And that means being able to recognize a shift in fair value, which is the most important concept of profile trading. It's the most important concept of relative value trading. It's the most important concept of order flow trading. It's the most important concept of volume delta trading. It's the most important concept of smart money concepts trading. And it's the most important concept of VWAP trading, is to be able to recognize. And that's why if you just apply them blindly, every single one of these concepts fails to deliver consistent results. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, you still end up with inconsistent results because you're not recognizing something's changed. Because a platform storyline doesn't tell you that something has changed. You've got to read that. And your tool set should reflect the ability to read the change in fair value. Because what's the smart money concepts, guys, of fair value? It's pretty much just profile, isn't it? I mean, these guys think that they've reinvented the wheel, these guys, on smart money concepts. But realistically, what is it? It's a trailing 50 line, guys. Right? That's what it is. You agree? Does everybody agree? Has anybody ever looked at the smart money concepts, guys, that kind of found themselves getting connected to the ICT dudes? Anyone? Anybody familiar with it? Smart money concepts. If I said to you, if I was to, because these guys always talk about discounts and premiums, right? That's what they talk about. So if they're talking about discounts and premiums, if I draw that line, where's their discount price? Well, their discount price will be this line here, right? That'll be their discount, agreed? Well, is it wrong? Well, no, it's not technically wrong, is it? It's technically correct. That is a discount, but it's a historical discount. If you knew that that was a discount price before that line printed, would this be valuable? Incredibly valuable, right? But did you know that was the discount before this line did print? Or is it calculated based simply on a 50-line pullback of that previous move? So it's a very valuable piece of information, but it's also in hindsight. If I knew at this point here that this market would be discounted up to that price, would this be the greatest indicator in the world, bar none? The greatest ever. But is there anything that tells us this? Is there anything in the world that tells us this? No, because nobody knows the future. If only that existed, everybody would be trillionaires, right? Everybody would be trillionaires. But we can make a forecast about this, can't we? We can absolutely make a forecast about this area. Now, this area here, which is the perfect opportunity to make some big money, the star of whatever it is flying overhead, and overhead, and all you've got to do is follow it, and all of a sudden you're going to come across the righteous one. If only that was the perfect example, the perfect outcome. But the problem is, you don't know it's there. You can make a forecast about it, but you don't know for sure that it's there. And how do we make a forecast about whether that is going to be a discount price in the future? Not whether it's a discount price in the past. Well, because we can start looking at other things. We can start recognizing, for example, volume delta, market profile, relative value, order flow. These concepts can start becoming useful in the recognition that we can put a probability into this. Never a certainty. This is never going to be a dead cert discount price, but it can be a probable discount price. Does everybody agree with that? It can be a probability, because the probability is based on Nash equilibrium. It's based on game theory. It's based on the narrative that things continue unless something changes. And if things continue until something changes, we get a fairly good idea about what's going to happen next, don't we? That's what VWAP's good for. If the VWAP story is strong, if the VWAP story is good, then of course the thing is, if we're selling below VWAP, it's going to keep going until it's acted upon by a buyer. And why would a buyer want to buy it before the low's in? No buyer would ever want to buy a price until they know they have an actual discount. But if the price keeps falling, how do you know if you've got a discount? You don't, right? You simply don't know you've got a discount, do you? Until the price stops, and you're only going to know you had a discount when the price stops falling. So if you don't know if you've got a discount, would it not be better to know when you've got a premium? Would that not be a better plan of action to trade with the certainties rather than the probabilities? What do you think? So we can start to work around that in terms of, if nobody knows that they've got a discount, is it not easier to put those guys under a lot of pressure and saying, do you really think you've got a discount? Do you really think you've got a discount here? Do you think it's now a discount? Do you think it's definitely a discount at this price? I have no idea. All right, so you don't have a lot of confidence then, do you? Nope. So let's sell to them. Let's press them. Let's push them. Let's keep them going. And that's why selling below VWAP or buying above VWAP makes so much sense. How's that sell on equities doing anyway, by the way, guys? Any good?